This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome everyone. My name is Soumya, and I'll be your host for this session. Before starting, I would request everyone to go on mute and turn off your video cameras. And if you'll have any questions throughout the session, you can send them through the chat board or you can unmute and ask. So let me introduce you to Tech Canvas first. So Tech Canvas is an IT certification training organization for professionals wherein we provide students to help them to crack their certification exams in first attempt. And being an authorized training center for IIBA Canada, we conduct all the IIBA certification courses like CCBA, ECBA, CBAP, and we also train people for agile analysis certification. We are also authorized training partner of Project Management Institute, PMI, for all the project management certifications. And we also have domain courses into banking, finance, healthcare, and many more. Today, as you can see on your screens, we will be discussing on how to become a project manager. And we have with us Rakesh. Rakesh has over 21 years of experience in developing, leading, driving, and managing complex software projects in various sectors. He has spent more than 15 years as project manager, program manager, delivery head, and account manager, and he holds an international recognized PMP certification, Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, and held Safe Agilist. And he is a PMI authorized PMP instructor. So I would request Rakesh to take the session ahead. Thank you all for joining, and I hope you all have a great session. Over to you, Rakesh.
Okay. Thank you, Soumya. First of all, just let me know if you can hear me clearly and aloud. Can you hear me?
Yes, Rakesh, we can hear
All
you.
right. Okay. Perfect. Thanks.
Yes, Raj.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I welcome you all on behalf of Tech Canvas to this webinar on how to become a project manager. Well, Soumya has already kind of elaborated on the kind of services that we provide at Tech Canvas. So briefly, I'll just take you through again. It would be kind of a repeat information. So like Soumya mentioned, so we are a IT certifications training company, and we have been in market since 2011. We are International Institute of Business Analysis endorsed education provider, which is EEP, and we are PMI authorized training partner, which is ATP. Now, before we get into the actual webinar, again, this would be a repeat slide. So I would request you to just bear with me for a minute or two. About myself, I'm not going to in the details of what Soumya has just mentioned, but briefly about me. I'm a PMI certified PMP. I'm a PMI certified authorized training partner instructor for PMP. I'm a Lean Six Sigma black belt. I was a safe agilist, and I'm a master trainer. So this is in a nutshell is all about me. Now, let me take you to the actual webinar of how to become a project manager. And I just realized that there would be just one way of working to this particular webinar, and that would be we'll be following a particular route, and that route would be called as a plan. And the plan for this particular webinar would be um, we'll first of all talk about the scope of a project manager in this VUCA world. Then I'll take you to the skills which are required by an individual to become a project manager. Then I'll talk about how you as an individual or who wants to get into the project management field, how you would break in into the domain of the project management. Then briefly, I'll talk about the roles of a project manager or associated roles of a project manager or an individual who would want to get into the project management domain. Then I'll briefly touch base of some of the tools that you as a project manager would be using to execute the project. So that was the fifth pit stop. And then the sixth one would be the credentials. I'll be talking about a little bit about the CAPM credentials that would be required for you to get into the project management field if you're new to the project management. And then I'll talk about what are the aspirations or what are the future credentials credentials that you would be looking forward after you become a project manager and you have been working in the project management domain for at least 3 or 5 years. So this is a plan. This is some kind of a way of working of this particular webinar. Now, before I actually hit the first pit stop, which is the scope of becoming a project manager, I would like to briefly define who the project manager is. And I would like to take or rather borrow the definition from PMBOK Guide 6th edition, which says that a project manager is the person assigned by the performing organization to lead the team that is responsible for achieving the project objectives. This is very simple definition given in PMBOK Guide 6th edition. However, it kind of summarizes the entire responsibility of an individual who works as a project manager in the organization. Now, let me start with the scope of this particular webinar, or the scope of a project manager in the VUCA world. So I keep repeating the term VUCA world, VUCA world. So VUCA stands for, which is VUCA. V stands for volatility, U stands for uncertainty, C stands for complexity, and A stands for ambiguity. So there's a lot of VUCA things which are happening in the industry, in the market at this point in time. So there is a plenty of scope of being a project manager. Starting with, once you become a project manager, you kind of bring in some initiatives in the organization. You drive the projects. So this is the whole and sole responsibility of being a project manager. Now, it is the ultimate responsibility of project manager to ensure that the requirements and the expectations of the stakeholders are met. At the same time, there are several studies which have been carried out to find out the scope of a project manager in this current world. I would say, why so many studies which have been happening in the scope of the project manager? Well, maybe 15 years ago or 2 decades ago, there was not much of a technological advancement in the industry. However, with the advancement of artificial intelligence and machine learning, so many things are getting automated, and so many processes are getting automated. So there was a need which was kind of kind of felt by the organizations, by the consulting organizations, to find out where the project managers or the scope of the project manager would be in near future. So they kind of did some kind of study. Now, this kind of research, they indicate that by 2027, the project management field will grow by 33%. So this is the fact. This is, I would not say fact, that was a wrong word to use. This is the data that has kind of come up from various studies done on the scope of a project manager. Now, at the same time, there is a research done by a company called as Anderson Economic Group, and they say that by 2027, 2.2 million project-oriented roles would be required. That is the demand. So if we start with 2022, if we go with this particular report, so for in another 12 months, the entire globe would be requiring 2.2 million project-oriented roles. So out of, if I choose 50% of that project-oriented role would go to the project manager, then there is again a demand of 1.1 million kind of a project manager role, very specific to very project management or project manager role. So that was the report, or that was the information coming from the Anderson Economic Group. Now, there is one more important aspect of getting into the project management, and that is the salary aspect. It is a tangible benefit that you receive once you become a project manager. Now, becoming a project manager, and once you are a project manager, and once you become a project manager, some of the times what happens is you go for the certifications. Now, since I come from a project management domain, and I have this PMP certification in my kitty, so I follow PMI, which is a Project Management Institute in USA. So they kind of conducted a study on salary. So it was kind of a survey, and it was a recent study. The report they showed in November 2021, and they say that the project managers or the individuals who hold PMP certification, they earn 16% extra from the people who do not have any kind of a certifications or PMP certifications. So I would say that this is the perfect time for you to enter into the domain of project management. So that was all about the scope of the project. Project manager getting into the field of or in the domain of project management. There is one data which I kind of came across very recently, but I'm not sure about the authenticity of it. But I really just want to drop it here. I read somewhere that there would be around 88 million project-oriented roles that would be required in around 10 years' time. So that is a huge number. That is a humongous number. And at the same time, when organizations go for giving a particular project to the individuals, they look forward for different experience, different education, but at the same time, they find out they want to know if this particular person would be apt for the project manager role or not. So, and at the same time, there would be individuals who would say that getting into the field of project management is difficult unless you have some implicit skills inherent to them. Some of us would argue that it is easier to get into the project management domain and skills can be learned. So that brings me to a very intuitive question. So what are the different skills which are required by an individual to become a project manager? Well, I can categorize these skills into two types. One would be the power skills, sometimes called as soft skills. It used to be called as soft skills, but recently, around a couple of years ago, people started calling it power skills because these are the skills which are actually giving the power to the person or to the individual, to the project managers to deal with people. So mostly called as interpersonal skills. And the second skill, second type of skills is the technical skills. So let me briefly begin with the power skills. There are a plethora of skills which a project manager should have or an individual should have to get into the domain of project management. And these are all the soft skills which are kind of available. So let me begin with one of the 7 habits which are given in a book by the same name, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. It says this is the second habit actually. Begin with the end in the mind. So when you have something that you conceptualize and when you visualize that this would be the end product of your task or of your project or of your program. So the first power skill that I would recommend is you should have some kind of end in mind when you begin some kind of a work. So that is eye on the ball or bottom line that I'm talking about. The second skill that I would want to emphasize more is the integrity. Integrity is I usually feel integrity is something which is very inherent to the individuals, and it is something I define this in a very specific way. Like if I, as a project manager, do not practice what I preach, then I'm not integral, or I do not have a kind of integrity in myself. So this is one of the most important skills or most important power skills an individual should have to become a project manager. I'll tell you why in the upcoming slides or in the upcoming topics. So that is integrity is the second power skills that I kind of jotted down. The third one is adapt to situations. Briefly, the skill which is required by an individual, how she bounces back, how she recovers, how she removes the barriers, how she clears the blockages. It is more of a skill of a project manager, of an individual, a resilient skill. So if something goes wrong, if the project goes into a firefighting mode, not just the project, if something, say if you are working on a task and if you are a project leader and something just goes amiss, so how do you bounce back? This is what I call as adapt to the situation. This is the resiliency that I'm talking about. This is also one of the most important skills an individual should have. This brings to one more aspect of a trait or a leadership skill a project manager should have. That is called as situational leadership. So if a situation kind of arises in front of an individual, how she manages it, how she takes care of her people, her stakeholders, and how she responds to the situation so that the burden does not get passed on to the team members who are working on the project. So that is adapt to the situation. I would relate it with the resiliency of a project manager. And I'll conclude the power skill section with the skill called as people collaboration. Well, like I said, there are multiple power skills or interpersonal skills a project manager should have. But looking at the time constraints that we have, that we need to cover, we would not be able to cover all the skills that a project manager should have. So people collaboration is the skill that I'll be talking about, and I'll be just moving on to the next skill or next set. People collaboration, why I say this is when a project manager works in a project, she spends almost like 90% of her time communicating. It could be verbal communication, it could be non-verbal communication, it could be gestures, and this would be like a very formal kind of a communication. But then sometimes she has to respond or report to the people who are sitting in the upper management. Then she has to coordinate with the customers, with vendors, with the team members. So people collaboration is such a sort of the skill an individual should have, so that she should be able to deal with the politics and the power which is in the organization. So when I talk about people collaboration or the people management skills, communication I already spoke about. There is something which is kind of coming up very big time, which is called as servant leadership. And servant leadership is kind of synonymous with emotional intelligence. So if you kind of combine your communication skills with your servant leadership skills and with your emotional intelligence skills, then you become a kind of a package wherein you would be in a position to deal with the issues or the concerns which are raised by the stakeholders. This is the most important skill a project manager should have, or individual should have. So that was all about the power skills that I was talking about. Since I said that there are different skills a project manager should have, one was power skills, soft skills, and the another one is the technical skills. Well, there is one important aspect which I kind of forgot to mention here is power skills, soft skills, even they are soft skills, they are very difficult. They are hard to acquire. Well, you can go through different training sessions. You can join workshops. You can join training workshops. You can get plethora of literature on how to become a good person, how to become a good servant leader. But it is when it comes down to applying it in practice, in real life, it becomes very tricky. So that is the reason why soft skills are very hard to acquire. Now let me talk about the technical skills an individual should have to become a project manager. I'll be talking about just two categories of technical skills here. One is the constraints a project manager should be managing, and another one is the methodologies that she should be working on. So when I talk about the constraints, so you must have heard about the triple constraints triangle when we talk about the scope, the schedule, and the cost. But there are different constraints which kind of came up in recent past. So apart from the scope, schedule, and cost, we have quality, we have resources, we have risk. Again, there is a how a project manager communicates with the stakeholders. Again, it is kind of technical skills, but again, it is a part of your soft skill. It's a kind of a subset of technical skills and power skills. It's kind of a union of two different skills. The second thing that a project manager should have, or an individual should have, is the methodology that she would be comfortable with. So when I talk about the methodologies, I mean to say that how a project manager sees the size of the project, the complexity of the project, the environments in which the projects are being executed, the culture of the organization, and how she tailors the project management processes so to deliver the project objectives in time, in schedule, in cost. So these are the two different methodologies that we'll be talking about. One is the the waterfall methodology, and the another one is the agile methodologies. But again, I'm not going to go into the details of these methodologies, but this is in brief about the technical skills and the soft skills an individual should have to become a project manager. Okay, moving on. Now, having looked at the scope of entering into the domain of project management and the skills required by an individual to become a project manager, let me say something about how to break into this particular domain of project management. And it is very simple. It is easier to break into this domain of project management. It is simpler because you, as an individual who wants to get into project management, observation is the most important skill set that you should be having. So when I say observation, what do we do? So the first thing that you should be looking at is how the work flows in your project, how the work flows in your organization. When I talk about the workflows in your organization or in your project, how the projects are assigned to a particular team, how the requirements are gathered in the organizations. Do we have any kind of organizational process assets in the organization? Do we have the knowledge repository in the organization? So this is what you'll be focusing on if you really want to get into the domain of the project management. Then at the same time, in the observation part, you should be observing how your project manager or how your project managers work, how they plan, how they monitor, how they control, how they execute the project, and how they deal with the stakeholders of the project. So this is again a part of your observation. Then what would happen is, if you really want to understand what would be the thought process of your project manager, try to get into their shoes, try to understand their mindset. And somehow what happens is you do not understand why the decision has been taken, why the project manager behaved the way she behaved. So maybe you can just go and talk to her, and maybe she would be in a position to help you understand why the decision was taken in that particular fashion, or why the behavior she acted. She would be in a position to give you the explanation about it. Now, there is one more thing. So when we talk about the observation, how you observe the things which are happening in your organization, per se, project managers, this is also called as job shadowing. Shadowing also is one of the techniques that we as project managers use to elicit the requirements from the customer, from the stakeholders. So it's kind of related, observation and job shadowing. One more thing that you really want to get into this particular domain is on-job observation. Find out what kind of tasks are being delegated to you, or what kind of tasks are being delegated to your project manager, where the tasks are coming from. Are they coming from your program managers? Are they coming from your portfolio managers? What are the different tasks the other people who are working on? If you are just started your career in an industry, and you want to understand, if you really want to get into the project management field, you really want to understand how the tasks are being delegated to the different people, how the project manager is delegating the task to the module leaders or to the project leaders, and is there any business analyst associated in to the project. I'll be talking about the roles of the project manager. These are called as shadow roles in the later section of this webinar. So I'm going to just skip it for the time being. And there is one more thing that you would really want to get into to understand the workflow of your organization. That would be called as internal job portals. There, the HR people or other people who are into recruitment, they are posting the requirements of project managers. Then you would be able to understand what are the requirements, what kind of skill set the organization is looking for to become a project manager or to manage projects. So all in all, this is how you would start getting into the domain of the project management. The reason is, even though it is at a very superficial level, you kind of get a broad idea of the kind of work which is happening in your organization and in your project per se. So that was all about how you break into the domain of the project management. Now, like I mentioned earlier when I started the webinar, that Tech Canvas is a PMI authorized training partner. And why do we do this? The reason is very simple nowadays. When people, uh, when organizations, they want to delegate some kind of a project to an individual, they want to understand if the individual is has the skill sets which should help or which should give the confidence to the vendors and to the customers that the customer would be in a position to receive the project objectives in time on schedule. So this is where the credentials come in, the certifications come in. So since we are trying to get into the project management domain, I am assuming that most of you would have around 2 or 3 years of experience or more than that, and trying to figure out if people who do not have any kind of experience in the project management domain, can they get into the project management field or not? So there is a certification which goes by the name of CAPM, which is Certified Associate in Project Management. This certification provided by PMI, and it does not ask you to give any prior experience in project management. So if you do not have any kind of experience in project management, then also you would be eligible to write this certification examination. So that was all about the credentials that I was talking about. And then I'll move on to the rules which I kind of left in between in the topic of break-in. So, so there are different rules a person can scale up from being a project coordinator, wherein your role would be very simple. You would be working as an information exchanger. So you would be just working as a facilitator, wherein you would help your project manager to get the information from one team to another team, and so that you make sure that the information is not lost. So this is the very basic role of a project coordinator, and it mostly happens in the weak matrix kind of organization structure. But again, to start with, this is the best role that you would want to look forward for. Then we have associate project manager. This is also one of the roles an individual could aspire for. Associate project manager is someone who would be helping the project manager in reviewing the project schedule, project cost, the plan. She would be helping the project manager in identifying, planning the risk involved in the project. So it's more like a reporting role to a project manager. This is kind of a supporting role to a project manager, kind of an assistant role to a project manager. Then comes the point wherein when you feel that you are good enough to pitch in for a project manager role, then maybe you can just talk to your senior project manager or your HR person, and then maybe they'll ask you if you have any kind of experience in managing the project. And depending on the responsibilities that you have performed previously, like as a role of a project coordinator or associate project manager, then maybe you will be in a better position to pitch in that you want to become a project manager. Now, this is where the buck stops. When I say this is where the buck stops, that means you as the project manager is accountable for the execution of the project. You are responsible for the delivery of the project objectives. I mean, you cannot escape the responsibility of what would go right or what would go wrong. You are the whole and sole responsible for the execution of the project. Now, again, then once you become a project manager, then there are different types of designation that different organizations or different industry have. So for example, I come from a software industry, and most of the times when I look at the requirements of a project manager in the job portals, they look forward for a person who would be helping him in coding, in resolving the bugs, in architecting the software, or so this is where the technical project manager role would come in play. At the same time, we'll have engineering managers, we'll have development managers. Depends on the industry, depends on the organization that you work in. So these are the different titles that are given to an individual who works as a project manager. So let me move on to the next topic, which is kind of a very important for an individual to get the things done effectively and efficiently to improve the performance. So this is the section called as tools and techniques. Well, as far as my knowledge goes, there are more than 132 tools and techniques which are kind of available in PMBOK Guide 6th edition. So it's almost like 120, more than 125 tools and techniques, and they come in so handy to help you deliver the project in the constraints. Well, I'm not going to go or cover all the tools. Once you try to get into the project management, maybe you will come across so many tools. So let me briefly tell you about the tools that usually are used for the traditional projects. So if I am working on a waterfall model project, so I would use maybe a very heavy tool which is called as Microsoft Project. But if I'm going, if I'm executing a project in a more agile way, in a more non-traditional way, then maybe I'll use Jira or I'll use Azure DevOps. Or if there is a project which is like 1 month long, and I do not want to spend my time or my budget on buying or purchasing the licenses of these heavy tools, maybe I'll just use a spreadsheet. So depending on where you come from, which industry that you work in, some of the tools would really help you in getting the projects executed on time in budget. Now, just off the mind, if you get any chance or any time, try to look at the critical path method. It is a very simple tool. You must have gone through it in your graduation or in your high school. It's a very simple tool, but it is also a very powerful tool in monitoring and tracking the project. So that would be my suggestion, that if you really want to, if you're not using it, critical path method, then maybe I would advise, or I would suggest that you should start working on it, apart from these tools which I've just mentioned here. Now there comes a point once you become a project manager and everything is going hunky-dory, and there comes a point that you feel that you are kind of exhausted, enervated with the same kind of responsibilities that you are going through. Maybe 3 years, 5 years, 7 years you are working as a project manager. What lies ahead? That could be a question. So once you start with being a project coordinator, then you become an associate project manager, then you become a project manager. Then what is beyond that? So let me give you a brief idea of what is beyond project manager. You started with associate project manager, then you become a project manager. But then after project manager, you would want to become a program manager. Now the difference between the project managers and program manager is very simple. A project manager in an organization would manage one project, or maybe max 2 projects, but they would be sometimes related or sometimes not related. However, a program manager, she manages programs. And when we say programs is a combination of multiple projects. Sometimes the program manager is also called a senior program manager, senior project manager, or group project manager in the organizations. But the crux of the matter is you can scale up to become a program manager in the organization, wherein you would be able to manage different project managers in the project in the organization. Now, what is beyond program manager? Then we have portfolio manager. So this is something like a portfolio manager manages program managers and project managers. And portfolio manager is more of a strategic role. It is not an operational role. And she tries to make sure to bring in the right kind of programs and the right kind of projects in the organization, which would be aligned with the strategy of the organization, the vision which have been created by the management in the organization. So that was all about how to go about after you get saturated being a project manager. Well, hierarchically, an associate project manager would report to project manager. Project manager would report to program manager. Program manager would report to portfolio manager, and portfolio manager would logically and technically report to the chairman of the organization or the CEO of the organization. So this is the hierarchical structure of an organization, a very simple organization structure that I have in mind. So that was all about the program and portfolio management, and this is where I would want to, kind of close the webinar of how to get into the project management domain. However, I would like to take a few moments wherein I would like to tell the kind of a course that we have designed for the people who want to get into the project management, who do not have any kind of experience in the project management domain. So we are providing a comprehensive induction to PM fundamentals, project management fundamentals, whether it's a traditional project management or the agile way of managing the projects. We'll be covering the different methodologies that are part of our project management course. And then since we are talking about the credentials and the certifications, so it would be more of the PMBOK Guide 6th edition, because this is where this is the book, this is the reference book that we'll be referring to pass the CAPM examination. This is an entry-level examination, like I mentioned before. Then we'll be giving you overview of project management tools like Project and Jira. And at the same time, this entire course covers the 23 PDUs, which are kind of essential to be eligible for applying to CAPM certification examination. So that was all in all about the course that we have kind of designed. And about Tech Canvas, Soumya has already mentioned about it, so I'm just quickly pass it through. So we are a PMI ETP and we are IIBA EEP. Our training offerings include business analyst, project management, domain trainings. We have almost like 2,000 questions for project management, and then we have a full length simulation exams. It is kind of our learning management system, LMS model, and we kind of created flashcards and crossword puzzles so that it's a complete 360-degree nurturing of a person to become a project manager and to crack the certification examination. So that was all about the content of the webinar. So if you have any kind of questions at this point in time, let me know.
This is Ganesh here. I work as a BA. I have close to 10 years of work experience. So if I'm aspiring to become a project manager, if I want to get into project management, will I be able to directly take the PMP exam? I understand that there is a requirement of 4 to 5 years of project management skills that is required to take that exam. Since I've worked as a BA in a project environment, will I be eligible to directly take the PMP exam?
All right, Ganesh, before I answer your question, I need to understand a few things from you. Is it okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So since you said that you have 10 years of experience as a BA, can I assume that you will be at least, managing a couple of people?
Probably 3 to 4.
Oh, that is perfect. Can I assume that you are the lead business analyst for a project? All right, perfect. So that means you have all the criteria, I mean, all the eligibility criteria to write the PMP examination. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Since you said that you'd be needing 4 to 5 years of experience in managing the project. So if you look at the fine print of the PMBOK, the project PMP handbook, they say they are looking for the person who has some kind of experience in leading and managing the project. Okay. It specifically doesn't ask you that you have to be a project manager to become eligible for PMP certification. But as far as your experience goes, as far as your management activities go, I think you are fully eligible to write the PMP examination. Just go through the PMBOK PMP certification handbook. You'll get a fair idea of
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Rakesh, there are some questions on the chat board.
Yeah. Okay. So somehow I'm kind of very naive here in.
Yeah. So I think someone wants to ask a question. I think that person can ask, and then we can take the chat board
Okay.
questions.
Okay. So
Okay.
there was a
So
question
this
from.
Sandeep.
Okay. Let me. I'm looking at the chat. So there was a question from Tanuja. Okay, so I guess that Tanuja's questions and Ganesh's questions were same. So I think Tanuja, I might have answered your question. Then Siley says, do we need to have hands-on experience on development languages like Java and .NET? Perfect. So Siley, if you are managing a project and you do not have any development experience or experience in developing the, well, there's a lot of noise. All right. So so it doesn't matter if you have if you do not have any development experience in Java or .NET. As long as you have experience in leading and managing the team, that should be good enough for you to go for PMP certification. Or if you really want to get into the CAPM, this is the best time you really want to get into it. So it is not a requirement that it's a kind of a technical stuff, and certifications like a PMP or CAPM, they do not look for the technicality specific to the industry. So for example, since I've worked as a project manager for almost like 15 years, and I've worked on different technologies, be it RF radio frequency or wireless or EMR, it doesn't matter what kind of development experience that you have. As long as you have the experience in leading and managing the team, it should be good enough.
Got it, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we have one more question from SA. I do not know what, so I'll just call Sa. So you have probably worked as a PM in several organizations. How much does the role of a PM change in different organizations? All right. Well, that depends on the culture of the organization, I would say. Even though I worked in the software industry, right from giants to smaller companies, it all narrows down to the culture of the organization, and it has to be top down. It has to be top down as in if the CEO of the organization or the COO of the organization, how they inculcate the culture in the organization. So I just remember one line from Peter Drucker when he said that the culture eats strategy for breakfast. So it kind of summarizes everything that you are actually asking for. So sometimes you would be working as a project manager in an organization, but then your responsibility would be just to pass on the information from one person to another person. Sometimes you would be working in an organization, that means you as a project manager is the chief executive officer of that particular project. So this kind of a liberty that you would get in the different organizations. Sometimes if you're working in a functional organization, you'll have to fight very hard, struggle very hard to get the resources required for your project. So yeah, so that is the different cultures of the organizations and the different roles and responsibility of the organization. It varies. Okay, so Rohit has a question. In long-term prospects, how we can differentiate BA and PO and project manager as a career in terms of all aspects such as salary, work pressure, or any other thing. My take on that particular question would be you'll have to scale up. So you cannot be you cannot remain as a business analyst for your life of your career in the organization. You cannot be a PO for your entire career. So it has to be a progressive. It has to be a progression that you would want to get into the role wherein you would learn many things, because if you're working as a BA or a PO, you are kind of restricted to your specific domain. You are not exposed to different things which are happening in the industry. So if you kind of scale up, if you take a step further up, becoming a project manager, then of course the salary would increase. And if you have a certifications with you, the salary would definitely increase. So that was, I guess that I answered your question about the salary part. Okay, work pressure part. So as you scale up the ladder, the work pressure would mount up. So that is the kind of a trade-off that you have to do. Okay, then again we have Tanuja's question. A BA with 2 to 3 years of experience, then it's better to start CAPM certification or directly can go for CAP PMP certification. I would suggest that you start with CAPM. Okay.
I think Sandeep had one question.
Yes.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes. Okay. So I had this question, like I am working as a Scrum Master in Agile Safe way of working, and in our setup, basically we do not have a project manager position. So how does this role fits in safe way of working? Scaled agile way of working, and which particular certification is suitable for my role at all aspire to become a project manager?
All right. So is your organization mostly into safe certifications?
Yes, yes. Basically, we have all those activities like program increment and PI planning sort of. So we do not have this project manager role as such.
All right,
All we have
but you
Scrum
are working as a
Master.
Scrum Master.
Yes, yes.
So, we are trying to get into safe certification as well, but I would say that you would start with understanding the safe certifications. Since you are working as a Scrum Master and you want to scale up your position, since I was a safe agilist, I would recommend that you first understand the certification criteria for leading safe, which is kind of a version 5.0 going on. But at the same time, find out if they are providing senior Scrum Master certifications, which I guess they are providing. And there is also called as product manager certification, which safe people are providing. So it would be a nice transition for you if you go for certifications which are higher up than the Scrum Master that you are currently in. So leading safe, implementing safe, that would be the best certifications that I suggest you should go for. You're there?
Yes, yes. Certainly,
Okay.
certainly. So this PMP will not be a kind of suitable for this kind of a model, because it may not be the case that I will continue with this organization, right? I mean, I might switch over. So in that
Okay.
case, there would be a different kind of a setup. Then I just want to be future-proof. I just want to have a future-proof career. So I don't
All
want to
right.
keep switching between SAFe, PMP, or so. I mean, from that perspective, I'm asking.
Okay, Sandeep, okay, let me first clarify to everyone that PMP, Project Management Professional Certification, is not the traditional or waterfall model of certification of managing the projects. It is not. It gives you a guideline of how you can manage the project, be it the traditional way or be it the agile way. So if you want to go for PMP certification, it is kind of giving you the benefit that you would fit in any organization, regardless of the industry that you work in. The reason I'm giving you this, since I was working with the EMR company a long time ago, and one of my vendors was in US, and he had around 3 to 4 years of experience, but he kind of gained the PMP certification, but he did not have any kind of experience in the hospital industry or any EMR kind of a product industry. However, since he had that PMP certification in his kitty, the organization hired him, and he was doing fantastically good job. However, when it comes down to the agile certifications, we are kind of restricting ourselves to one particular domain. Now, the PMP certifications after 1st of January 2021, they changed the entire model. Now, what they are doing is they are looking for, they are targeting the traditional way of managing the projects, and they kind of segregated the agile way of managing projects. So we have the hybrid kind of certifications in terms of PMP. So if you pass PMP, then you will have enough information and enough knowledge available with you to fit in any organization, regardless of the organization. You would be just fit in there. Did that answer your question?
Hi, I'm Kokla here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into CRM since 2 years, and I was a developer for last another 2 years. And overall experience I have is 4 years of industry experience. And now I'm moved to CRM, where I'm just engaging with the clients as well as the employees. Like I'm just the bridge between the uh, delivery managers as well as the clients. So what you can give the promising days that I can complete this PMP certification?
Oh, so overall you have 4 years of experience?
Yeah, yes, I complete 4 years of experience by this June. Yeah, I would be yes.
All right. So I'm not sure if the requirements which are there for PMP certification would be matching with yours. They are actually asking for 4,500 man hours of leading and managing the projects. So that is one thing. Second thing, if you really have that kind of experience, and then if you have the experience of managing and leading people, leading projects, then I think you are surely eligible to write the PMP certification. Now the question that you asked.
Thank you so much, because when you were, yeah, I'm sorry for the interruption. As you were telling that like hospitality, people management plays a vital role for being a project manager. So that of like it gives some level of confidence that we can crack this.
Yeah, you can definitely crack this. There is no problem at all, because PMP certification is mostly experiential, scenario based, and well, and also at the same time, since you have worked in the industry, you would be in a bit better position to fit in the bits and pieces here and there. So that's not a problem. Just check the requirement. Just check the eligibility criteria that you have, because 4 years, and if you're saying that you want to get into PMP certification, I guess it's a very, very slim chances, but maybe you can just get through it. No problem there. Now the question that
actually,
you asked.
Yes, please.
The question that you asked is how soon you will be able to crack the PMP certification examination.
Correct. Now, that's the motto now I have in my mind.
All right. So if you dedicate yourself maybe 2 or 3 hours a day and understand the concepts, there are almost like 10 to 12 books or reference books that you have to refer, and at the same time you have to have 35 contact hours in your kitty. So it's a formal project management educational hours that you have to show to the Project Management Institute that you have covered the 35 contact hours and you are eligible to apply for the PMP certification. So all in all, 45 days, I would say, give and take 5 days here and there. It should be good enough for you to crack the PMP certification examination. But then you have to slog really, really hard.
Yeah, I understand that.
All right. So, okay, thanks, Kokila. So Shivam,
thank you so much.
I have 8. Thank you. So I have 8 years of experience in QA lead, leading a team of 5, then moved to product manager role and lead 3 team members, and then move to business analyst role as individual contributor. Please suggest which certification should I do? I think you should go for PMP certification. Shivam. All right, then Tanuja, having ECBA, CCBA, CBAP certifications, then directly can we go for PMP certifications? Tanuja, just check the requirements. If you have managed or delegated your task to your team members, 2 or 3 people, and manage the projects as in any project, then I think you should be good enough for the PMP certification. Let me say 5 years of QA plus 2 years of project coordinator will be eligible to take PMP. Yes, you will be eligible to take the PMP. So Lemis, I guess I answered your question as well. All right. So may I guess we do not have any more questions at this point in time.
Yeah, yeah, I think we are not having any more questions. I think the session was really good, Rakesh. This was very insightful, and everyone who joined, thank you so much for joining. And as you can see on screen, there are a few details. So we provide training into PMP, CAPM, and Agile project management as well. So you can get in touch. The contact number is provided to you. Email address is there, and you can also check out our website. We'll be starting our batches recently, so if you can, if you really want to join and connect, you can get in touch with Brijesh. The contact number as provided. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Rakesh, for the insightful session.
Thank you. Thank you, guys, and thank you, Soumya.